Question 5 is all about copper. It starts with a longer answer question for which you're given lots of detail about the extraction of copper and the demand of copper versus the amount that's left. Pause the video here and remind yourself of the information. You're asked to explain why the scientists are very concerned about the balance between supply and demand for copper. It says specifically to use the information in the question. Let's have a look at the mark scheme. Notice that this is deemed to be an easier question. Its target is up to a C grade, so all triple students should be aiming to get 6 out of 6 for this answer. To get full marks, you need to process the data about supply or demand and link it to the data about a problem that you've highlighted. Okay, so the problems that you need to highlight are either that copper is going to run out eventually, or that supply cannot meet demand, obviously meaning then that copper will run out. In terms of the processing data, those points are here. So you needed to have realised that between 2010 and 2030, the expected demand for copper is doubling. You can see that from the graph. Here, in 2010, it's 20 million tonnes, and the predicted for 2030 is 40, so it's doubled over just 20 years. So that's one way in which the data can be processed. Another way is to say that demand for copper is rising faster over time. So if you say it's just rising, that's true, but you can see that as time passes, the rise increases as well. So it's increasing faster over time. You may have made some attempt to estimate the number of years' supply that's left. So if you look at the information here, you can add all of this together and you get 289 million tonnes of copper that's left. That's in these 4 main deposits. So if this is the amount, the demand in tonnes per year, then every year we've got 20 million tonnes, then more and more and more. So basically, we're saying even if the demand doesn't rise more than 20 million tonnes, every 10 years we are using 200 million tonnes. So after 15 years we'll have used 300 million tonnes, and that would be more than what we've got left. So as long as you've had a good educated guess about that, or made some kind of attempt at a decent calculation, you can get one of the processing marks. Another easy way of processing the data is simply to add the supply for the 4 countries together, as we had to do to be able to estimate, the number of years of supply that we had left. So simply adding the 4, you could get a processing data mark. You could also discuss the shortfall between the demand and the supply using data from both the table and the graph. So as long as you've processed the information from the table and from the graph, and you've linked that quite clearly to the fact that we will run out or that the supply doesn't meet the demand, if you're not confident that you'll get all 6 marks, check out the marks here about supply and demand. Okay, you might be able to get the 3 or 4 marks.